Hello friends, Ravinia here. For those of you who saw my last Sims video, we took a look at the new industrial loft kit that The Sims just hooked us up with, and we kept talking about like how much it looks like it's meant to build like a really cool rustic industrial style like modern cafe. And so I thought, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and actually do that. But I definitely wanted it to be in theme with what we do in our community, which we focus a lot on my dogs and everyone being dog lovers. So I thought instead of building like a cat cafe, let's build a dog lovers cafe. So that was kind of my inspiration behind doing this little speed build that we're going to take a peek at here. I'll warn you in advance, I am still very, very new to building in The Sims. I'm still doing a lot of learning. Even what we're going to see in the video won't be the completely finished product, as I'm always looking and learning different ways to do things in The Sims and trying out different looks. But I'm really, really proud with how this turned out. Mostly focused again on using the industrial loft kit and all of the items that came in it. Definitely focused on modern and industrial style items to build this cafe. And again, this isn't my very first time ever building a cafe or restaurant in The Sims as well. So considering all of that, I am actually very proud of it. But see, you're already seeing here me like forgetting, like I'm always pressing the wrong buttons to do stairs and put them at the angles that I want. And it's just a mess. So you're going to watch me change my mind several times about what I want to do in different spaces. And you're going to hear, see, speaking of dogs, Natasha is in the background right now barking about the dog cafe. But she does like it. You'll see her dog actually barking in the game here in a minute too, asking for some food bowls. But yeah, so I started just kind of building a little bit of a frame of what I wanted it to look like. I knew that I wanted to use really big windows and really big doors, and definitely make it look like something that would even maybe be in a city, which doesn't really make sense, I guess, for where it's placed in my world, but I don't care. I think I do think it looks very like modern and a little hipster. Definitely that, you know, that kind of style and that kind of feel. Like that's definitely something that you would see in like a hipster little city in California, or something with the big pane windows and everything. So I really miss going to cute cafes. I actually got to go to one recently, but since we have moved to where we live now, there's like not a whole heck of a lot of this kind of stuff that you can find where I currently live in Louisiana. But my husband actually surprised me and took me to a really cute cafe recently that actually had like some of the stuff that we enjoyed in California, and some of the foods and things. And like I had avocado toast. I was really excited about avocado toast. It was really good. So it's the little things, y'all. It really is like it's the little things sometimes. So I definitely wanted to kind of make the cafe inspired around that kind of concept, but I really didn't use any specific place as my inspiration. Honestly, I think I pulled more from different breweries and things that I used to go to that were very like, you know, torn down and rustic with exposed beams and exposed piping and all of that. That was a little bit more of what I decided to pull from. And then like a modern or an industrial place, I did want to play with some color, even though they tend to have a lot of, you know, the metals and a lot of darker colors. And often there's like black brick or like even black walls. Sometimes they usually do throw in like weird splashes of color in places, or even like murals. So I wanted to incorporate both of that into the space. But first I just kind of made the frame, which you can see here. I decided on like a spot for a couple of bathrooms. I built a space in the back for a kitchen that where you'll see me put a cupcake maker in there. Even though I don't think in The Sims you can really run a cafe like you would a bakery. Like you can buy some foods and things from the counters, but it's not like I can make cupcakes and then sell it to the Sims that are in the that come into the cafe. I still thought it would be cool to have it back there, even if I just make cupcakes and like put them on some shelves or something to imply that that's what it's meant to be and the kind of place that it would be, that it's like a mix of a bakery and a cafe with little foods and snacks that you can have as well. I also wanted to make sure I had like an outdoor patio, especially since it's supposed to be dog themed, like an outdoor patio place that people can sit and play with their dogs. And I wanted to have a separate place that was upstairs. At first I thought about doing a loft, which I am still like considering going back and kind of changing it and doing a loft. But honestly, I kind of like the way that it turned out, as the upstairs being kind of a media space where people can go and work on their computers, which you'll see in a minute. But here's a good example of me like not being able to make up my mind. I looked at like 6 different kinds of things that I wanted to put in the kitchen. I couldn't decide. I knew I wanted the cupcake maker, and it just takes up so much space. Like, what was the Sims thinking when they came up with this cupcake maker? Who would ever in their right mind use a cupcake maker of this size? Like, why did they decide if you want to make cupcakes and like be a baker, you have to have the world's largest cupcake machine that anyone has ever seen? Like, I really don't understand the thought that went into the cupcake maker. I know that there's some mods that you can get that give you like a small, like actual cupcake mixer, and they should just put that into the real game. Let's be honest with ourselves. Though it does look kind of cool in here, as far as I'm concerned. It does look pretty neat. Like, at least that's cool. And here I am struggling to get the stuff on the walls the way that I want it. And see, this is just all like little newbie Sim stuff that I'm sure some of you are watching and going, oh, poor baby. little Sims newbie. Yeah, that's me, but I'm having fun, and that's okay. And part of learning how to do something that you're not used to doing and you've never done is just failing and then realizing, oh, this is how I can do that. And see, here I decided to change the color. Well, you do see bold color a lot in places like this. I definitely didn't like the original blue that I chose for the bathrooms. I thought it was a little bit too bright, and I thought that this like muted kind of turquoise green was a little bit more appropriate. But I changed my mind a lot, as you can see, as I switch things around. I just finally decided to do the mural just on the wall with the stairs, which I do think is the right choice. I think that that triangle wall pattern does look like it could be something that you would see in like an office or in a cafe or in a restaurant or maybe in like a retail space. And I did enjoy using it, and there is a little bit of that same kind of wall color that I used over in this main space where you actually like order your food. So all in all, as far as like my colors and the things that I ended up choosing for my cafe, I really enjoy them. And see, I didn't have move object on like when I was first doing this, and I thought I'm gonna do this entire thing without using any mods, then I'm gonna advertise the video that way and just be like, makes a cafe with no mods and and nothing extra. And then I was like, never mind, I'm using mods, and I used move object anyway. I was like, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna be a crazy person and not being able to put things where I want to put them. So I did end up turning it on at some point in the video. I'm also a big fan of these tables from the new Industrial Loft collection. I really like how they look. I like the different wood grains that are in them. This one is probably my favorite, which is why I went with it. I think that the wood grain on it is just really beautiful and interesting, and I don't think there's a lot of things that are like it in The Sims right now, at least in the packs that I own, but I'm getting pretty close to having most of them. I also really love this table, which I believe is from the pet set, and it is so beautiful. And I thought, in a place like this, you would see places with like different kinds of chairs, and they would be mixing different kinds of woods. And so I thought mixing these two different styles of pieces was actually totally appropriate for a place like this. Even though the chairs don't match beautifully, the tables don't match beautifully, honestly, I think it's exactly what you would see in some place like this. They wouldn't necessarily be all matchy because that's not always what you would find in a place that's like industrial like that. Here I am like looking for a table that could maybe go in front of this wall, just looking to fill space. But I'm still very new to all of this building and just figuring out what's in the game. I'm always like looking at all of my objects and all of my items like 30 times, because sometimes I miss one that I've never used before, and I'm like, oh wait, but this is so great, and it looks like this that I don't have. Or people are so inventive in The Sims and come up with such interesting ways to do things, or to ways to combine objects so that those objects will end up looking like the object that they actually want. I watched a video the other day where a girl was like crying over amazing innovative ideas with like turning around the cupboards and the cabinets and like all these different ideas that this person had, and I was just like amazed by the talent. I'm pretty sure that was Little Simmy, I think is who I was watching. So shout out to her and her awesome channel. I also had problems with the roof. I couldn't decide exactly what I wanted to do with the roof, but now I'm actually very pleased with it. Like, I really thought about it a lot, but just having like a metal roof that looks kind of like coppery, bronzy for water to rush off of it, I think that that's probably the best thing that I could have had there. And then looking at the different menu boards, I might go back and blow them up and make them bigger, but I haven't decided because I feel like they're a realistic size, and that's probably what you would see in a space like that, is that they would just have those simple chalkboards like up behind that you would get your order from, and one would probably have like the drinks on it and the other one would have the food. So I really try to think about making things practical. Like, I don't just want it to look beautiful. I want it to be something that the Sims can use and have it look like something that you would actually see in real life as well. So upstairs in what originally was going to be my loft area until I decided to change it, I decided to do like a media space. I also wanted some couches and stuff up in the upstairs, kind of like it could be like a chill, like quieter space that people could be. So the upstairs is kind of like your chiller hangout, you know, go up with your friends, maybe like study group space where there's a computer that there's computers that you can use to look things up, but there's also a couch and lounge place where you can sit and discuss and do your work as well. And I also decided not to use one of the actual like industrial coffee table, because to me it looked a little bit too much like a coffee table. And that's not really what it should be upstairs. Like, having that big space, the big table that I put there, I thought was what was best, just because it's more of like a spot that everyone could have like their laptops out, or they could have their books on the table, like opened up if it's college students or something working on a project together. That's more of a space that they could use to set those items down, rather than only the people sitting right in front of it would have a spot to sit their coffee, you know? And then again, I wanted to do another big media space, but I even used a different color version of the chair upstairs, again, to give it just like a different kind of feel in the upstairs than the downstairs, but still sticking pretty similarly. And then of course I had to add dog details. So I kind of decided that the color for the space was going to be blues, that I was going to stick with the blue color. And then obviously the orange bowls actually worked really well because it ties in with all of the like copper colors and the wood. And then some little doggy beds, just stick them in there because again, this is supposed to be a dog place. Like, the traits that I put on the actual lot is that it's a place that's dog friendly. So you're meant to bring your dogs there. It also is a place that attracts like stray dogs, that stray dogs could come and hang out. And I just imagine little stray dogs like showing up and hanging out. Like, have you ever heard there's like these amazing places that you can go in like some cities, and they have like it's like dog adoption cafes and cat adoption cafes, where not only are the dogs and cats that are there like cool and you get to hang out with them and they get lots of love, but they're also up for adoption. Like, can we talk about the ultimate dream of something that I would love to own one day? Just have like a really cool cafe. And I think industrial style is perfect for that too, because you think like cement flooring and like open flooring, because you could have like drains right in the floor. So if the puppies have an accident, you can just like rinse off the floor quick and boom, it's cleaned up. Like, I really think that someone should just make this in real life. Can we just take this concept and then we can give it to somebody who's an actual architect and more talented than me, and they can take this concept and turn it into a really adorable industrial dog adoption cafe, because I think that we need to have this happen personally. So then I'm just filling shelves here. I'm just doing some detail work, looking for cute little things that I could put on the back counter. And like in my brain, I always have answers for everything that I'm doing. So it's like acting like your characters always have an objective. So my idea is that everything on the back shelf is sellable, but that money from buying products from the cafe goes to like feeding the stray dogs that come to the cafe. Don't mind me. I'm just living in this perfect like animal dream where people are like taking care of these stray animals that come into their little cafe restaurant. But I love it. It's like this mix of, coffee and dogs are probably like two of my favorite things. Like, if there was also wine at night, like it would be perfect. So anyway, here are my Sims visiting my little cafe. I hope that you think that this build is cool, and at least it gives you some inspiration of things that you can do in your own Sims world while using the industrial items that just came out and mixing them with some of the new items. See, look, there's Banner. Me and my husband Sim just out on a little date. And if you want to be a part of our Sims world that we are working on Twitch, please come hang out at twitch.tv/Ravinia, where members of my community are actually becoming real Sims in our world, and I'm building all of these awesome houses. Oh, there's Banner just taking a little nap, just so cute. So please come out and hang out with us one of these days, and you can just listen to me, chat to myself and talk to myself like I am right here as a Sim. Look. Art reflecting life. Oh my God. Is she singing? I don't even know. This is so weird. All right. I love you all, friends, and I hope to see you soon. And please hit that subscribe button. Bye, friends.